One of the hardest things probably in an actor's arc of their career path is going from taking any opportunity because they want to work.
Of course, yeah, exactly. You want to work,
to creating opportunities or to having some control over their path. And I think that you went through that, right? Like if we back up a little bit and we talk about Damages, you know, that's an interesting show because on one hand, that was probably the first time that you had a steady job for that long.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than this gypsy film life. But on the other hand, it is like building a brand.
Yeah.
As a character, right?
I'd mainly done film in Australia and a bit of film over here. And then all of a sudden you're into this show week after week after week with this character. But I grew to love it because you become so intimate with your character in a way that you know them in a way that you would never know a character if you're doing a film. So that I really enjoyed that aspect of being on a television show. I loved that.
Obviously, that show came at a time of your career where it established you, and of course, it would be the greatest thing in the world to have steady work.
Oh God, yeah.
But did you find when you stepped out of the Damages realm that you had now sort of inadvertently built a brand, or your agents or casting directors or the greater world saw you in a certain way?
They did, absolutely. Yeah, I think that show was so specific and it was so serious and it was a great show, but dark and brooding and the character was tortured, and it definitely did. Yeah, I remember, I had been saying for a long time I'd love to audition for some comedies. Is there any comedies I can audition for? And my agents, they're like, sure. They say whatever you want to hear, but they were like, okay. But it took me a while. It took me at least a few years of trying to getting in rooms for comedic stuff before I landed a job. And really, it is hard. I mean, people need to, I guess it's like if you're watching a sportsman, right? That they're a basketball player or a tennis player or a netball player or a volleyball player, and then they're like, you know what, I want to play ice hockey.
Right.
And you're like, whoa, just stay in your lane. Stay doing basketball.
So that's an interesting thing.
I don't think you should be going to the ice hockey rink anytime soon,
And that's an interesting distinction because I think people outside of the industry would not see acting in a drama or acting in a comedy as different as someone who plays basketball and then wants to go play ice hockey. But
yeah, I think it is. I think there's very, very few actors who can go from one to the other without people being a bit like, oh no, they just do, sort of. I love how Adam Sandler will do, a tiny film with Noah Baumbach and then he goes and does his big comedies. That's a great, what a interesting thing when people take a risk, but, I'm sure his audience is always surprised.